La neta con Larry Navarrete.
So I'll tell you for mine, I probably get hate for this and stuff, but I could price less.
Welcome to The View. I know.
No view.
It's
the bottom line.
The bottom line with Larry Navarrete, a.k.a. the Loan Master.
Loan master, what is it? Jack of all trades and master of none?
Yeah, I just heard you. Just heard you getting your sending people to cut your grass and stuff like that.
Yep, cut the grass and showing a rental property later on today.
Oh.
Anyways, I'm Larry Navarrete. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, and this is Aaron Rubio, the all-seeing, the all-knowing. Inhale, exhale. We're doing Larry's show today. Bottom line with Larry Navarrete. We're talking about building the team, Larry.
Forming your team, forming your real estate team when you're looking to buy.
This is episode 3. On episode 2, episode 1, we talked about who you are, where you came from. Episode 2, we talked a little bit about how to get the seed going.
Get the seed going.
And now let's talk about how do we build a team to do those investments, to do those purchases of property.
Well, first you got to know what you want to do, or you got to have a rough idea, all right? You got to have a rough idea. What's your end goal? What are you trying to do? 2,
make money.
You want to, I always tell people, look, everybody's a professional. Everybody knows, I know this, I know that. Go out and interview 2 or 3 realtors. Go out and interview 2 or 3 lenders. So who you feel comfortable with? How do you feel with them, him or her? And then what's their experience?
You talked to me about a client that you had that actually interviewed you, Larry.
Yeah,
what was that all about?
I had a client that I'm there. I'm doing. This is a nurse, and some people that are professionals, and they tend to ask a little bit more questions. So I started asking her all the questions about work and income and everything, and she stopped me there. She goes, "Well, hold on, how long have you been doing this, Larry?" And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, before we move on, I'm like, and it just caught me by surprise.
Yeah,
I'm like, nobody's
shocked,
ever.
Right?
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, why is she asking me this? And then,
why are you asking the legend?
No. And then it was like, and I go, you know what? I've been doing this for 19 years. And then I threw my spiel about me and the personal, my experience and what I did. And she's all like, perfect, awesome, go for it. Now continue. And it shocked me, and it got me like, you know what? People should ask these questions more often.
A resume, right?
Yeah, we all, there's a lot of people on social media. I do this and that, and flashy clothes and flashy videos, and I don't know. I'm just the bottom line, man. You want my experience, you want my input on the situation. You know what? I don't know how to do videos. I'm not flashy. I don't dress.
But you got a good point. I mean, we are out there to make a large investment, the purchase of
your biggest investment ever.
Buying a house, right?
Buying a home.
And we're actually, sometimes we're just getting referrals from whomever.
From friends, family, realtors. Billboards. And go out there, and when you talk to somebody, interview them. Find out what are they all about?
Because we got a bunch of, like, in Yuma County, we got close to 1,000 realtors,
something like that, and I don't know how many lenders, a couple hundred lenders probably now. And like, I'm not saying that they're not good, all right? But to me, it's like, what is their experience?
Especially if you're going to be doing investments, right?
Yeah, and then even your primary home. I had people, and I said this in the Spanish one. And my example is, when people tell you, well, what's better to buy, a used home or a new home, right? Well, has the realtor or has the lender bought a new home? I bought a new home.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, my first 2 homes that I bought personally were brand new. My third one, I'm not doing this ever again.
You learned?
I learned my lesson. Okay. And now when it comes to investments, I bought used and new. The new, and I was almost kind of forced to buy it because it's like, I have a different plan because it's my retirement. I want them to last a little longer. But when I bought the brand new home, I bought it. I still had to spend $20,000 afterwards.
It's basically.
It had no fence.
Nothing in it. Okay.
It had no fence, right? I had to put a block fence. I had to expand the concrete. I had to put a backyard, landscape it. I had to put blinds on it. I had to put a refrigerator on it. I mean, all these expenses, when you go see the model home, you don't see them. So this is like when people tell you, well, what's better? Well, you know what? Here's the pros and cons.
Especially if you're working with a budget, right?
Especially
if you're set
you
with
know, when you're
set
buying
amount for a
when
payment.
you're buying a home, 90% of the time you're working with the budget.
Okay.
I rarely have, in the 19 years I've been doing this, where people's like, I don't have a budget. I don't care. You know what? I probably never heard it. I'm going to say 99.9 because there might have been once.
And as a lender, you do the pre-qualification for
I do the
clients,
qualification.
but you don't calculate fencing and
No, and
blinds.
I tell people, are you sure you want to do this? And they're like, well, why? And I go, it doesn't have no blinds. It doesn't, it's not landscape in the front. It only comes with a 3x3 brick in the back and the patio, right? And then they're like, what? And I'm like, well, yeah, And a used home, does it have this stuff? It doesn't have everything, but it has clothes to, the person before
Left stuff behind.
Left stuff behind. They can't take their blinds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's little things that you want that person to advise you.
Yeah. Especially if you're working with a set budget.
Which, like I said, most of us are. Most
Yeah.
of us are working on a set budget. I work on a set budget, and it's like,
And you have a very good point. There's a lot of lenders out there that are teaching you how to do investments, but they've never done an investment.
They've never done it.
You got a lot of realtors that are out there selling homes to you, but they've never owned a home.
sadly but
some
true.
of them might not have even rented a house.
Sadly but true. And I'm not saying that they're bad agents.
No.
Right?
But it's like when you go to see a doctor, of course.
Yep. When you go see a doctor, and I've said it in my Spanish podcast, when I go to a doctor, the first thing I'm looking in the wall, right? I want to see, where did this guy graduate from?
Yeah.
What's his specialty? How long has he been doing this?
Yeah.
If I go see the family doctor, no problem. But now that I'm doing something and special or something, I had knee surgery. I had my ACL and MCL repaired.
I thought you were going to say that
A year ago.
age 50 checkup.
No. Yeah, I already did that too. I did that too. And
You want to
trust
go
me,
to a specialist.
yeah, I want to go to a specialist. Yeah, I want to see, where did you graduate? How long have you been doing this? I don't want somebody working on my knee that is, third month out of residency.
Yeah, right? It's like they're just going to give
I
you
mean,
a painkiller or they're going to do
no
surgery.
offense to them, but
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
I
mean, you don't want somebody to.
so you want to build a team. You want to interview a couple people because we're all good. We all know what we're doing. We could all put in numbers in a computer, and the computer will spit out approve or not. But it's, what is that advice that person gives you?
Well, some people know more things than others.
Yeah, and then how do you work out numbers? How do you suggest? You know what I mean? How do you, when people tell me, I tell young people and first time home buyers, buy what's rentable. That's my advice. And they're like, what do you mean rentable? And I go, because this is not going to be your last home you buy. This is your first home. You're planning to buy. Especially when you have no kids or you have one kid, it's going to grow. You're going to grow. So you're probably going to buy another home. You don't want to get stuck like people did in 2008, right? Where they lost their home because their mortgage was X and they could have rented the house for Y. Okay. And there's a huge gap.
There's a big difference in numbers.
I bought 2 homes here in Yuma in 2004. My payment back then was $1,006 and $1,008. And I was renting them for $1,000. I bought them for $230 and $225. Guess what? They went down to $110,000.
A big drop.
But the rent didn't. So people would tell me, lose your home, let it go. And I'm like, why? My mortgage covers my payment.
More payment.
18 years later, I paid them off. And now I collect $1,700 in rent. So that's my experience, because when people would tell me, well, I'll let go of my home. And I would be like, why? I mean, you pay $900 and rent is $950.
It makes no sense.
But my home is only worth half of what I bought it for. Who cares? Your difference is $50
Yeah.
a month. You're gonna let go of your home for $50?
Yeah. It makes no sense,
It
right?
makes no sense. So that's the experience I feel I bring to the table, right? And that's my guidance, and that's what I'm gonna tell you. So these people, when they're buying a new home, I'm like, or a home, look, your first home should be a rentable home. Something that when I move out of that house, I don't have to sell it,
Yeah.
right? Because when you have to sell something, guess what happens? You drop the price.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, if
You
it's got to
have
go,
to.
it's got to go, yeah.
Because it's got to go,
Yeah.
right? Unfortunately, if you're getting divorced, you have to sell the house. Well, guess what? I rent it. If something happens, I don't have to sell it. I could keep it as a rental until the market changes.
So you and your ex-wife can share the rent, or?
Share the rent or whatever, but you don't have to, right? You don't have to. If your house is upside down, right? One quit claims it and keeps it because there's no profit, but you don't have to. You don't have to do a crazy decision.
Of
Right?
letting it go.
Letting it go.
Yeah, just
of
let
letting
it go.
cheap. No.
Or either cheap or just let it go.
Or let it go and foreclose on it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I tell people. Don't go out and get that crazy mortgage or that dream home. No, you know what I mean? Your first home shouldn't be your dream home. But that's just my advice, and that's what I tell people, and it kind of opens up their eyes.
Well, once again, we're going back to picking your team.
Picking your team, yeah.
If they don't like what Larry says, well, then go interview another
Go
lender.
interview another lender.
If you don't like what that realtor says, well, then
Go
go
get
interview
another-
another
yeah.
realtor.
And then the pricing, you know what I mean? We all have the rates and the cost and everything. They come from the same place.
Same place.
Right?
Money comes from the same.
Yeah, money comes from the same place. It's what profit or what margin are we making?
It makes sense.
Right? So I'll tell you for mine, I probably get hate for this and stuff, but I could price less because I don't need that extra money. My thing was to retire at 50, and I turned 50 last week.
So you're saying.
So now all this is gravy for me.
So Larry's gonna cut people a deal, guys.
I'm
That's
gonna
what he's
cut you a
saying.
deal,
He's
man.
taking money out of his pocket.
I'm not
almost.
going to take money out of my pocket, but I don't have to make as much.
Yeah, I get you because you're set.
I'm set. I don't have to make as much. I'm okay. I'm blessed. I did what I did, and that's it.
So we're not gonna call this bottom line Larry. We're gonna call this set Larry, which is gonna give you a great deal on the loan.
Great deal. Yeah.
Larry, let me get your numerical number that you
My
have to share
number
with
is
everybody.
my NMLS 670362. I work for Lone Sweet Mortgage, and my name is Larry Navarrete. My phone number is 928-785-2451. 928-785-2451. And you know what? When you're out there shopping, have your realtor say, I want to talk to Larry. I want to talk to
Because he's
Larry.
gonna give you a great deal, guys.
I give her a great deal, man. I'm okay, man. I turned 50 last Friday, and I wanted to retire at 50. I can't because I have a daughter that's a sophomore in high school, and I got to get her to college.
But Larry's set, guys, and he's gonna share some of this cake with you.
I'll share my stories, and I'll share everything, and I'll do whatever it takes.
So great deals, great bargains with Larry. Inhale, exhale.
But pick your team, man. People, pick your team. Pick your team. Interview. Don't go with the first person. Interview 2 or 3 people when you're doing real estate and when you're doing lending.
Once again, call Larry. What's his number?
928-785-2451.
Thank you guys for episode 3, building your team. We'll continue with episode 4. See you guys in a couple of weeks. Thank you.